Hello, everybody. This is Gail Lloyd. This is a torture report, and I have a lot of bentonite clay on my chest here, and I'm holding my hand over because I'm being hit in the chest really hard as I'm sharing this with you. This is Friday, May 22nd, 2020, and regarding being a targeted individual and tortured almost every waking moment of my life these days, as this deep state gang has gone rogue in these underground bunkers where they were trained to shoot these electromagnetic chemical weapons at me, and they use wall-penetrating visual devices, so it's like shooting a fish in a barrel for them to pinpoint target all the most vulnerable areas of my body. And because of my resistance, they tried to oppress me and turn me into a remotely viewed prostitute, and I resisted so thoroughly that 2.5 years later, they are now, the whole program got shut down last fall. They were fired and told to leave the bunkers, and they stopped receiving any money for sustenance, and and they went rogue and refused to leave. And apparently this extremely experimental technology that they're using has somehow formed a horrific addiction. They now, there's about 50 of them down there. Three of them walked out in recent months, and then after that there was a sort of a coup and a lockdown, and now there's like about 6 or 8 of them that are holding all the rest hostage. And they live through the winter without heat. Their toilets stopped functioning, and so they're just defecating on the floor now. And the deep state, who I hear law enforcement through underground speakers trying to talk them out, is giving them what they call austerity rations, so much so that they are now extremely emaciated. They've got terrible injuries, not only from exposure, frostbite, and people starting to lose toes and parts of their ears, and etc. But these machines themselves are highly toxic, highly radioactive, and they've got a lot of incontinence going down there. I hear that they believe it's because of prostate cancer, and there's also dysentery, and and the shooters are so addicted now that they don't even get up and move around. And I heard somebody complaining you have to stop dumping on the mattress, and I can overhear them, and so I've learned an awful lot about this program. And it was they have been telling each other repeatedly that I shut the program down, and it has become exceedingly clear to me that this was a prototype program, that if they were successful in having their way with me and were able to, make money doing this, that they were going to franchise this across the whole country. And these weapons that they shoot at me, they call, some of them are called the abortion weapon, because it can just penetrate deep into the flesh and insert highly toxic substances into the flesh. And they were planning to use this to abort fetuses non-consensually, probably minority groups and other individuals that they weren't ideologically in alignment with. And not to mention countless numbers of innocent people that would have been sex trafficked and worse via these weapons. So it has become exceedingly clear to me that I was a prototype, and it was such a disaster that the whole program was shut down. And I hear law enforcement and the individuals below saying repeatedly how horribly embarrassing and what a disaster and what a catastrophe this is, which it is. And the worst has now happened. A child, most of these sound under 20, some so young their voices haven't changed yet. And one of these kids named Sidka died a few weeks ago. The crazies don't let them deliver Sidka's body out so he can get buried. He's just down there decaying. And I'm pretty sure I heard today, there's a group of Israelis that are now, they came in as shooters, but they're now being held hostage immediately below my apartment. And then in adjacent bunkers is the American wing. And I heard today that, pretty sure I heard a couple times that somebody named Paul has now died. And so the barrage has been overwhelming, the desperate cries of those who are trying to get them to stop shooting at me and allow people to leave. And I heard somebody yell today, that was just a simulation. So in other words, it sounded like somebody was rationalizing continuing shooting at me because in their training, they were able to control the person, and the response is that wasn't actually a non-consenting person. It was somebody that was part of the program helping them to train. And so the pain is excruciating. I mean, the barrage today felt like several people shooting machine guns at me filled with poison darts, just strafing up and down my body, excruciatingly painful, or my chest and neck, and periodically my face interspersed with trying to rape me. And so this seems like it's some kind of a showdown. Perhaps it lasts the beginning of the terrible, tragic ending of this horrific metastasizing of the dark forces in our government. And that they would use children to do this is an abomination on civilization. And it's going to be tough in the days to come. It's going to be life or death for me and a lot of other people, hanging in the balance. And so keep us in your thoughts. There's some kids that they really got duped into this. They didn't know what they were getting into, and nobody deserves to die like they're starting to die. Nobody deserves